Now we're going to install our Raspberry Pi power cord, which is the USB-B cable that we just modified. And we want this end to be up near this part of our printer because the Pi case will go here. We're going to run the other end of our cable down through this same hole that our X wire is coming out of. And we will run it out of our main harness hole down there in the frame and then up to our buck converter and connect it to these 2 points right here. So I am going to disassemble the motherboard. I'm going to start by taking my motherboard case off. Enough that I can feed that wire down through and out through the bottom hole. I discovered that if you just take off the 3 screws on the bottom of your printer and pull that cover down, don't let it hang by your fan plug, but go ahead and unplug that. You can remove this piece and set it aside. Then we can feed our wire through this. So I guess we need to go this end. We can feed our wire up through there and just make sure that it kind of comes out of that same hole on the opposite side over here that the Z end stop wire is going out on. Okay, and then this part, the part that has our 2 wired ends or our soldered ends, we will feed down through our little wire tray, and then we can go ahead and plug in our case fan back into our port underneath, and then I can go ahead and put these 3 screws back in, and our cable will be installed as far as we need it at this point. Alright, so here we are with our cable coming out of the hole here in the front where the Z cable end stop switch comes out, and then we've run it down underneath into our wire bundle, and now we've run it up so that we have some slack, and it's going to go to our buck converter. I did find out that if you take out this back screw, it allows this plate to pop up and flex just enough that the head of that connector can fit in there easier. If you don't have that off, then it doesn't fit very well. So now we're going to install our wires to the other end of our buck converter, the ones that we tinned earlier, but right now it's pretty hard to get to. I'm going to start by raising my Z-axis up out of the way quite a ways. I've pushed my Y-axis forward, and I'm going to loosen the 2 screws in the top of the blue case inside on the buck converter. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing there. I'll go ahead and open this one as well. Can just unscrew those about as far as they go. Now I want to take the black wire that I colored and make sure that goes on the negative side, which in this case, if I look in the case of my buck converter case, there's a minus and a little minus sign right here. So that's the side my black wire goes on. That's my ground, and that means my positive is going to go on the other side. Now these are pretty long leads that I left myself, so I'm going to snip those off just a little bit because I don't want them to be so long that they come out and cross over each other and short out. So I'm going to clip that so it's only sticking out about 3/16 of an inch on both of those. So similar to that. And I'm going to separate them enough that I can get my white one down inside there. Now this is a little bit tricky. You might have to pull some of your slack out and turn your cable so that you can get it to go in the hole. And this is going to be kind of hard to show. It might actually be easier to just put them both kind of next to each other, feed them in their respective holes at the same time. That way you don't have to try to do it again later. I'm going to try to put the black one in first. Okay, it's in. And I'll screw this down until it tightens on the wire. Give the wire a little tug just to see that it's in. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and poke the white wire in its hole, which is our positive. And we'll go ahead and screw that one down. And then give it a little tug as well. Little tug on the black one. Looks like we're in. And then I'm going to leave enough slack there. So I might have to pull a little bit through. Here. So that we can tie this one, or actually we'll tie the one that comes off our buck converter up next to one of our wiring ones back here. So I want to leave enough slack here that I can kind of tie one of those up. I don't want to tie it to the bed one because it moves back and forth, but I can tie that to my other wires here, or I can put another clip that goes down into there. That's kind of hard to see, but we could clip that down to our frame on one side or the other. So I don't think it'd be a good idea to connect it to our power cord, because then we might get some kind of interference through there, but since it is a power cord, I'm not sure that it would matter much. So you can see that that goes down through our wiring harness and then comes out right up here where our Z-axis does from this side. So now we have our buck converter wired, and this end I will fold in and plug into my Pi case and my Pi after I get it installed. So we'll show that next.